The new Block III Super Hornet promises to be as significant a jump in capability as the earlier transition from the Block I Hornet to the Block II Super Hornet in the early 2000s. Consequently, the new F-18 Super Hornet, dubbed the Super Duper Hornet, is about to join the Air Force's new F-15EX Eagle II in serving as one of the most advanced non-stealth fighters in the world. The U.S. Navy plans to purchase 78 all-new Block III Super Hornets in total, as well as upgrade its existing fleet of 550 or so jets to match. How does this jet fighter transform from Hornet to the Super Hornet? The first F-18 Hornet was developed by McDonnell Douglas and took to the skies in 1978. It was designated as the U.S. Navy's primary carrier fighter in 1984. This aircraft was designed to be a replacement for a variety of carrier aircraft, including the A-4 Skyhawk and F-4 Phantom IIs. Its broad capability set and impressive performance confirm that the jet is an exceptional platform for both the Navy and Marine Corps. The U.S. Navy was ready to double down on the Hornet by 1992, but to keep up with the changing times, the aircraft required a significant facelift. In fact, this new Super Hornet was a largely new aircraft that simply carried over the F-18 designation, as a part to convince Congress that the program was a cost-effective derivative effort, rather than a pricey clean sheet design. The transition from Hornet to Super Hornet, which are also known as the Block I and Block II orders of this aircraft, seem to be dramatic. The Block II Super Hornet, often known as the Rhino by pilots, is larger than its predecessor and has some standout features that might be unnoticed at first pass, but become difficult to ignore once these two fighters familiarly appeared. What actually makes the Block III F-18 Super Hornet fighter truly special? There are some of enhancement compared to the older Super Hornet in four main areas. First, Block III will first have improved range due to new optional fuel tanks. Second, the cockpit controls are quite a departure from the aging Super Hornet Block Is and IIs. Third, taking its cue from civilian vehicles, the cockpit now has an iPad-like touchscreen. Fourth, the Block III Super Hornets also have an advanced combat computer. For this reason, the U.S. Navy claims that the Block III is lethal, survivable, and can be easily upgraded with new technology as it becomes available. To get more detail, let's take a closer look at the design of this jet. The Super Hornet is largely a new aircraft at about 20% larger, which is equal to 3,200 kilograms heavier empty weight, and 6,800 kilograms heavier maximum weight than the original Hornet. The Super Hornet carries 33% more internal fuel, increasing mission range by 41% and endurance by 50% over the legacy Hornet. The empty weight of the Super Hornet is about 5,000 kilograms, less than that of the F-14 Tomcat, which it replaced, while approaching, but not matching, the F-14's payload and range. As the Super Hornet is significantly heavier than the legacy Hornet, the catapult and arresting systems need to be set differently. Moreover, the biggest upgrade is improved range. Optional fuselage-hugging conformal fuel tanks will add 3,500 pounds of extra fuel. This will result in an extended distance capability and an improvement over the Block I and II Super Hornet. Block IIIs will be able to fly longer missions to engage targets. It also will have an extended life cycle plan for more service hours. This means 10,000 flight hours compared to the 6,000 flight hours of previous Super Hornets. Another important feature is that the capabilities of this jet include the advanced cockpit system with a 10 by 19-inch touchscreen display. According to Jennifer Thibault, Boeing Director of Development for F-18 and A-18G programs, the advanced cockpit system takes the legacy displays of the Block II and puts them all into one big touchscreen piece of glass that's almost like an iPad interface for the pilot. The intent behind the streamlining of these screens isn't to reduce the data available to pilots, but rather to help manage it more effectively. Fighter pilots need to glean information from multiple screens and the world around them, and then fuse it all together in their heads to develop a well-rounded concept of the battle space they're in. In addition, this aircraft was also designed with infrared search track system. The addition of a centerline tank-mounted infrared search track system in the Block III Super Hornet has been called integral for the capability of the fighter by Boeing officials. This passive detection capability is aimed squarely at fifth-generation competitors like Russia's Sukhoi Su-57 or China's Chengdu J-20. The IRS can be used to scan the horizon for radar-beating fighters, picking up on the infrared heat released by their jet engines without broadcasting a signal through space to tell others you're on the hunt. This will give the non-stealth Block III Super Hornet a real fighting chance against stealthy jets, potentially spotting them against the sky backdrop from 100 miles away. In regard to its operational history, the Super Hornet entered fleet service with the U.S. Navy in 1999. It achieved initial operating capability in September 2001 with the U.S. Navy's Strike Fighter Squadron 115 at Naval Air Station Lemoore, California. On November 6, 2002, two F-15EX conducted a response option strike in support of Operation Southern Watch on two surface-to-air missile launchers at Al-Qut, Iraq, and an Air Defense Command and Control bunker at Tal Air Base. One of the pilots dropped 910 kilograms JDAM bombs from the Super Hornet for the first time during combat. Another mission was on June 18, 2017. A U.S. Navy F-A-18E shot down a Syrian Air Force Su-22 fighter bomber that allegedly had bombed a position held by U.S.-supported Syrian Democratic Forces near Tauca. The Syrian government claimed that the Su-22 was bombing an Islamic State position. This was the first aerial kill of a manned aircraft by an American fighter since 1999, the first by the Navy since the 1991 Persian Gulf War, the first kill by a Super Hornet, and the third kill by an F-18. For the update, Boeing was awarded the $4 billion U.S. Navy contract in March 2020 for the purchase of 78 F-18 Block III Super Hornet fighters, including 61 single-seat E and 17 two-seat F. This delivery will go through 2024, and the Block III conducted its maiden flight in 2020. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.